What's up, friends?
Hello.
Woo!
How's it going, guys?
Good.
How
Good.
you doing, Dr. Feargood?
Pretty good.
Good, good. Vampire King, what's going on, man?
Just having a good sleeperino, and I hope that everyone else is having a good day.
Good, good. You and your totally normal sleep schedule and all that?
Yeah, just the sun burns me, no big deal.
Well, you're a vampire. That's to be expected. Pickle Deer, how's it going, man?
Going pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Hope you guys are all excited to play some D&D. Been thinking a lot about this next couple of sessions the last few weeks. I've been super busy with just everything going on in my life, but pretty much every minute of me being at work, I'm just sitting taking down notes on my phone and stuff of the D&D campaign, and I'm excited to get back to it. So let's just jump right in. Do you guys remember what happened last week?
We murdered a purple worm
True.
very gruesomely and thoroughly.
And narrowly, I might add.
We were fine.
I like the confidence. That's right. That's what I would say. Yeah, you guys took down the.
It was good.
Good job. Good job. You guys took down the purple worm, which actually, it was already dead. It was a zombie purple worm, and you guys super killed it. And then made your way and rested, which this was something that surprised me, actually. You guys ended up, resting inside of the purple worm tunnels, and then finding your way underground towards the direction you thought was towards the city of Chance, and you emerged through a crack in the top of one of the tunnels and made your way up to the edge of a ravine on a cliff overlooking, and you could see on the horizon the city of Chance down below through a forest and across the field. And that's where we left off. So we will jump in right there, where we left off. So you all kind of finished scrambling up the ravine side and stopped at the edge of this forest, and Mac, who is pretty exhausted by now, he had to climb up about halfway before, I believe, was it Chad? Did you take him?
Yeah, I tied him to a rope and just had him dangling and started climbing.
Right. So you guys crawl up over the edge, and Mac is just both exhausted and kind of just what in the world have I gotten myself into here? And I'm sure he's kind of trying to connect with all of you in the limited time that he's had so far, and try to get to know all of you a little bit just through simple conversation. But it's just been mostly him being annoying and talking the whole time. But he turns to you, Deacon, and says man, us new guys got to stick together. This is crazy, man. I'm exhausted, and I can't believe we're going to do all this. What do you think about this so far?
I think that the goddess made a mistake, but if this is the best she has to offer, we'll make do with what we have.
Mac, he he probably seems a little confused about that, and he just gives you a nod and maybe a pat on the arm, and he's like, I'll I like your optimism. And he kind of perks up, and he leans over and takes a swig off of his little potion and jams it back in his robe, and then starts to walk off and try to catch up with Chad and Chewie. And as you guys get to the edge of this forest overlooking it's kind of you're at the foothills of these cliffs that kind of surround Chance, as you can see on the map here, kind of close to this little cove of water and stuff, these giant cliffs and rocks and mountains and stuff. You're at the foothills of these, and it's just kind of a gradual hill decline through this forest, and then a field, and then the city. And as you get to the edge of the forest, you can see the city off in the distance, and it's surrounded by its wall, and you can see the buildings that have kind of, some of them have been destroyed, and it looks like the city is just in shambles, and it just looks totally ravaged by the outbreak. But you get up to the edge of the forest, and everything just seems so still and quiet. There, you don't hear any like birds chirping, any normal forest woodland noises or anything. No animals hopping around, and it's kind of like you get a little bit of a chill as you start to make your way in, and it almost gets cold and eerily silent. And Mac turns to you all and just is like, I never really heard of a lot of people coming into these woods when I was living in Chance back before everything happened. This was kind of the, kids were told ghost tales and scary stories about these woods to keep them from coming in and endangering themselves by going off alone into the woods. We were always told that it was dangerous, and strange things lurked in these woods, but I never came in myself to disprove those conspiracies. What say you, Chad?
Well, if there's some sort of scary stories about some crazy things in these like woods, I mean, it's probably not like that scary, you know what I mean? It's probably like there's probably not even anything there. They just don't want the kids to get lost. So I'm pretty sure there's nothing bad. And if there is something here and those stories are true, it's probably something that's strong enough that could probably just kill the witch and everything alongside it. So I'm not scared of anything scary stories. That's nothing.
Mac like leaps into the air and like does like a fist pump at Chad and is like, absolutely agreed. Nothing but old tales to scare the children and keep them away from hurting themselves, tripping over a rock and getting stuck out in the woods. Assuredly,
Exactly.
just stories. Besides, we would have noticed something by now if there was anything out here, and surely hunters and gatherers from the city would have noticed anything strange going on out here. Besides, with the outbreak, and it seemed to have already made its way to the wastes when we passed through there, when we ran into those couple straggler zombies. I'm sure we would have seen something around here by now. So I suggest we make our approach to the city. And he turns to you all.
Unless it's underground.
He does kind of like nod his head at you at that one, and then say like, well, we have experience with that. I think we'll be okay if we run into any more underground threats.
So are we headed into Chance then? Is that what you want to do?
He says, well, it still seems like a good day's hike into the city from here, but I guess if that's our destination, we should make our way through the forest and head there, unless you guys have any other plan of approach.
Do you know about anything about the other areas?
He says he doesn't know anything about Venture. He says that as far as he knows, it was like an old ruin before anything even happened. Like when Chance was still a bustling town, Venture was already like an old ruin that he didn't know anything about. And he says the windmill and the small farming village outside of Chance to the north is but it was occupied by just some like rural farming communities and some people before anything happened, but he has no idea what would be going on with them currently. And I know that there's not like a scale on the map or anything, but the little farming village and windmill and stuff to the north of the city is probably like I don't know, a few hours away from the city. It's like
Okay.
a morning's walk away.
So the other place is at least a day.
Yeah, probably a good couple days journey to venture from here.
Okay.
So he turns to you all and says, "Well, I'll follow whoever, whichever way we want to go, whatever you think is the best strategic approach to accomplish our mission. I'm here to assist." Welcome to the stream, everybody. Thanks for coming by. So, what you guys want to do? Head towards the city, towards one of the other locations? Stop, take a nap?
I'm thinking maybe one of the other locations. Didn't he say the city had fallen? The refugees.
So the Commander Phillips, the Dragonborn guy that helped you guys kill the purple worm, he did say that Lady Rosiel, the ruler of Chance, had like taken over and subjugated all of the like undead residents, and now they're like working for her. So the city is like kind of ruled by her and the Lich's powers, but it is the location to the artifact that you're seeking.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to railroad you guys any one way or the other. Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, if the artifact is somewhere in the city, and I think you were saying before that it's most likely in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
That the castle kind of went up overnight or something, basically.
Yeah, so like when the outbreak happened, like Commander Phillips kind of was down at the dock area at the bottom of the map, and he was like overseeing like incoming and outgoing like travel into the island and stuff. And when the outbreak happened, by the time he made it back to the city to like check out what had been going on, this like giant structure had been erected by the like horde of zombies that is being controlled by Lady Rosiel.
Do we know anything about this particular relic? Like what it looks like, what it's supposed to do, anything like that?
You don't, as far as I know. I don't think any of you have learned anything about it. Commander Phillips, I believe all he told you guys was that obviously something had to be going on to have given Rosiel enough power to like command the undead, and he suggested that she probably is working with the Lich, but that's all he knew. And as soon as he figured that out, he tried to make his escape and gathered up as many people as he could, and that's when he ran into you all.
Now it sounds like that's the way we're going then.
What do you think, Chad?
Chad just wants to get out of the spooky forest. Even if there's stories, Chad doesn't want to sleep here. Chad doesn't want to become one of the stories.
So I think at that, Mac probably says, I agree, and either way, if we're going to go to Chance or try to go look for survivors in the farming village, I think either way our first step should be through the forest, get out of here as quickly as possible.
Chad agrees.
All right. So Mac and Chad start to clambering their way through the forest.
I'm following them.
All right.
Yep.
So you guys head off into the forest, and like I said, as soon as you step in, it just feels like instantly you just step into this like almost like an air of silence and coldness, and it's just really unnerving. And it's like you're in if you've ever been in a room that's like really weirdly insulated, and like the room almost has like a deadened sound to it, like your voice doesn't bounce off the walls at all, it's just like flat and sound doesn't carry very well. In this forest, it's like you talk and it just like the sound just like dies off, and it's like really, really weird sounding, and there's no noise coming from off in the distance. Like you all know from your just life experience walking through like the woods or whatever, you can hear, you know, a twig snap every once in a while, or just random noises, you know, rocks falling in the distance, or a spring flowing uh, around a corner. But here it's just totally silent. You don't see or hear really anything, and it's just kind of this gray flat landscape that's heading down, and it becomes it starts out where you were towards the base of the cliffs, like pretty heavily wooded trees and stuff near the edge of the ravine where you came up from. But the further into the forest you get, you can still see like the sea of trees in front of you, but you get into the kind of the middle area, and it just becomes this kind of clearing of, it starts to be more and more dead trees, and the ground is more and more gray, and eventually you get to the point where you're not really passing any like living trees anymore, and it just seems like you're just going through this sea of dead trees that looks like it's you know, the middle of winter with no leaves left on the branches, and it's just totally gray and lifeless and soundless. And Mac like stops and turns to you all, and he's like, I need a break. This is we've been hiking for a few hours now, and it's exhausting, and man, it's spooky in here. And he turns to you all, and it's like, what do you guys think is going on? It's like the corruption of this land is like affecting the actual land itself. And he turns to the trees and he's like, we haven't seen like life or animals or anything in hours, and this forest just seems to be dying off. There's plenty of rainwater, and doesn't seem to be anything going wrong. I don't understand what's going on here. And as he says that, you actually hear something in the distance for like the first time, and you hear this gigantic like thud in the background, like something, a tree fell or something like that and crashed in the distance, and you all look around, but you can't see anything in your immediate, you know, in the clearing that you've kind of stopped in. Mac just kind of blindly stares at you all. Make a perception check, all of you. 15 for Chewy, 14 for Chad, 12 for Deacon. So, Chewy and Chad, as you are standing there, you both have by now kind of just tuned out Mac. He's just been talking your head off this whole time, and it's like a pretty creepy, silent forest. You're both pretty on alert this entire time. So, Mac talking, you've just tuned it out, and while he stops and stands and tries to talk to you guys more, you're both kind of watching the edges of this clearing. And Deacon, you are standing there, and like actually you kind of felt pity for Mac for a little second. You stopped to listen to what he's saying, and as you're talking to him, these two, Chad and Chewy, you're both kind of looking at the perimeter, and occasionally you'll see what looks like, you know, this like black blur out of the corner of your eye, and then you turn and it just looks like, you know, the wall of dead trees kind of surrounding the clearing that you're in. And then you just turn back and kind of keep spacing out a little bit and look back towards Mac and Deacon, and then out of the corner of your eyes, you know, a black flash again will go through your vision in the peripheral.
How far away is this from us?
You're in like the kind of the middle of a woodland clearing. You know, nothing's too far away, in the hundreds of feet, not giant distances.
Okay.
So maybe
The ground around us, is it dry dirt?
Yeah, it's a mixture between, just like dead grass and patches of dirt and just regular like forest ground. You don't notice any water or moisture or anything like that. It's just dry land.
So I could pick up some dry earth and have it in my hands.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Chad, you see this black blur out of the corner of your eyes, and you turn and you think you see something like go behind a tree in the distance.
Did you guys see that?
Mac turns and he gets like interrupted mid sentence through talking to Deacon, and he's like, "Oh, what? Sorry, I kind of got distracted there. What's going on, buddy?"
I've been seeing something out of the corner of my eye, and then it's not there a second later.
Mac is like, maybe the like quietness of this forest is messing with you guys. I did hear a big thud noise a minute ago. Maybe you guys just saw a tree fall out of the corner of your eyes.
No, it was definitely something.
Seen it more than once.
More than once. Do you think there's? And he like kind of like hunches down and starts looking around like he's a little paranoid. He's like, "Do you think there's people out there?"
No, I think it's just like a mind curse, and we're slowly just getting mind cursed the longer we're in here, and we're just starting to see more and more visions, and eventually those visions will attack us until we get out of here. So I think we should leave.
Mac says, mind curse, of course. And he like, uh, Chad, make a, oh, what would it, I guess it'd be perception. Like, what would the check be to see if you can tell if somebody is lying? Perception, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Let me see if there's a better one for
I
that.
think it's insight.
Insight, yeah, make an insight check. So
Okay.
I don't know if you have a
Insight.
different modifier for that.
I do.
Oh, 18, nice.
Worse modifier, but a better roll.
So 18. So you say your little theory about the mind curse, and Mac is like, "Oh yeah, of course, a mind curse. Yeah, for sure, yes." And you can tell he's just like, he has no idea what a mind curse is, and he's just like, "Yep, that's what it is. We should get out of here." But he's like confused and just trying to fit in. He's like, "Yeah, I agree with Chad. It's probably a mind curse, guys. Easy. Definitely a typical case of the old mind curse."
Yeah, exactly. So if we end up accidentally hitting each other, we know what's gonna happen. We can prepare ahead of time. If we're gonna be fighting, there's a 50% chance it's gonna be mind curse, and we're gonna be fighting each other.
Mac is like, "Well, that doesn't sound good. I definitely am. I'm down to get on the road again. I guess. Sorry for the distraction and for stopping us. This place creeps me out, and now I'm even more creeped out."
Yeah, it creeps Chad out too. Get on my back. Let's get the hell out of here.
So you like pick up Mac on your back there.
Yeah, I do.
So, all right, you pick him up on your back and start to head out of this clearing, and as you begin to walk through the clearing and you kind of get out into the open area where the dead trees are kind of like spread apart and there's not as much forest growth, you see on the other side of this clearing in front of you, you just see this black blur constantly like darting in back and forth between the trees and stuff, and every time you stop to look at it, it's gone. And you're all heading towards it across this clearing, and you see this black blur keep appearing and disappearing behind the trees, and you'll like you'll see the tree that it popped behind, and you'll stop to look at it and it disappears, and then out of the corner of your eye it'll appear again, and you'll see the tree it pops behind, and you'll focus over there, and it just keeps popping back and forth,
Is it
And
getting? Are we getting any closer to it?
you feel like you keep moving towards the other side of this clearing, and out of the corner of your eye you'll see it on the other side of the clearing, and then you'll look there and keep moving forward towards it, and then it pops up on the side, so it's like really disorienting. And eventually it just stops, and you no longer see it. You stop and focus on where you last saw it, and you no longer see anything, and it just seems to be still. And Mac is like, he's like kicking you in the back to like get out of here, Chad. He's like, all right, I'm freaked out now.
So I was able to see it this time too.
All of you now, yeah.
I'm going to use detect magic just in case.
Okay.
In case this isn't something that's naturally moving that fast.
Sure.
Or turning invisible or whatever it's doing.
So what is the range, and what all can you detect with detect magic?
So I think in 5th edition, it starts off as let me see, I have it in the spells. It's like a 60.
You see a faint aurora around any visible creature or object area that bears magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the range is
30 feet, it says. Sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. A faint aura around any creature or object that bears magic. Huh. I think that you probably see the like faint aura, like maybe how familiar are you with like Skyrim, Pickle Deer?
Pretty
When you know the spell that you can cast and it like lights up a trail towards your quest objective?
Yeah, clairvoyance.
Yes, so you kind of see that, like a really faint, like magical aura, just like a misting of that in the clearing in front of you. That's kind of just like a trail leading away from you, but it doesn't seem to be like illuminating any objects or surrounding anything. It just like, I think just your natural like abilities and casting detect magic, you can feel like there was a little bit of a magical presence around here, but you can't really like hone in on it, if that makes sense.
Is this trail going off in the direction that we're going?
Yeah, just like straight through to the other side of the clearing, and it's not like a straight trail. It kind of just like it's like a light dusting of magic that just goes through the clearing all the way out to the other side. And you stop to you focus for a second, and you cast detect magic, and as you do this and you're like kind of sensing this feeling, and you look and you're kind of checking out the ground where all this is at, you hear another one of those crashing noises, and then all of a sudden that blur happens again out of the corner of your eyes, and you all look up, and then you hear Mac scream, and that's going to be initiative. So everybody roll.
Oh,
Make sure I get on the right page here.
can I have a mulligan?
That would be funny to come up with some type of initiative mulligan rule.
I might have to do that.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. All right, let me see if I can make sure you guys can see all this on the stream here for everybody watching, and you guys see the map page and everything okay? On your Roll20 devices there. So, I don't know.
To my one good roll on the initiative.
I don't know how you guys would be standing, but Mac is like, just think of him as on Chad's back there, I guess. And you hear Mac scream, and Chad, it's pretty much like this little annoying dwarf scream right in your ear.
It's like a little like chihuahua yelp.
Yeah, exactly. And right as you hear him scream, you turn around to like see what's going on, and he falls off your back, and he is like paralyzed on the ground and just like frozen. All right, let me write down everybody's initiative and roll my own.
continuing a long tradition of Mac being completely useless.
Like how could you even
Yeah.
be that scared when you're like literally mounted on Chad? Like I don't know, like he hasn't even been that scared before. Like when there's like a giant worm eating
Well,
everyone he knows.
he hasn't told us what he's seen yet. So what we see.
Sees a vision of his potions being a failure.
I don't think that's possible.
Well, I mean that's why he's so afraid. He's like can't imagine a universe where that's possible.
Right? He's like, oh my god, if this is possible, then I've been deceived by reality.
It's like all my good potions were luck? No.
He could have been hit with like a hold person or a phantasmal killer or
All right. 1
it
second.
might not be entirely Mac's fault, just mostly Mac's fault.
Okay.
When isn't it entirely Mac's fault though?
Oh, come on.
I mean, it was entirely his fault I got electric powers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, assuming he was the target of some kind of malicious spell, at least he was the target of it and not one of us. So
That's true.
I count it as a win.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you all are standing here, and Mac falls down and he lets out this piercing scream, and then he seems to just be frozen still, paralyzed, and just not moving on the ground, and his eyes are still open, but he's not moving at all. It's like he's been just like absolutely frozen solid. And you all rolled.
His eyes are gonna dry out so bad.
Let's see here.
Do you see any hair statues anywhere?
That's a good point. All right. Do anyone have to make a? Okay, let me roll real quick. Deacon, what is your AC?
14.
14. Okay, 18 to hit. So you see Mac fall down and fall off of Chad. You're kind of like right behind him as you were all traveling through, and you see this like stinger shoot into Mac's back, and he lets out this scream, and he falls down paralyzed, and you like follow your eye line follows Mac down to the ground, and you see him be frozen, and then this wall of like white webbing just comes and completely covers you, and you are restrained, and you get like launched onto the ground and stuck to the ground with this like coating of this what seems to be a web. Let's see.
Cool.
Then it is going to be, sorry, I'm trying to do like a surprise round here without, all right, get my thing up on the screen now. So you all see Mac go down, and then Deacon just gets covered by this web, and then from out of the corner of your eyes you can see at the other side of the clearing, that's a good one. It's pretty creepy. All right. You see this giant spider up here. Man, it's really hard to get this to show up on the screen on the stream. 1 second, guys.
Do we
There
know
we go.
like what kind of spider it is? Like a big spider or just like
It's gigantic.
dark spider?
So you see what all goes down. Chad, you turn around and see Mac fall off of your back, and then you see Deacon just get like slammed by this web, and then you turn from the direction that the web came from, and this spider just like quickly like lunges out of the forest, and it's just this gigantic, like, black and brown spider that seems to be covered in, like, dead leaves and dirt and moss and, like, rotting flesh. And it's the size of, like, the trees. And now you can see, like, the black shape that was darting back and forth behind the trees seems to be this spider, and it emerges and it's like making this like skittering noises, and it starts to run after you. And Deacon, it is your move. You're restrained by this web. When you are restrained, I don't think you can move or doing anything, but as an action you can try to make a strength check and burst out of the web.
I thought restrain just means I couldn't move.
Possibly. You can still take an action, definitely, to break out of the web. I guess if you could do something else, then you probably can, but...
Restrained, your speed becomes 0, attack rolls against you have advantage, creatures' attack rolls have disadvantage, and you have disadvantage on dex saves.
Cool, alright. Anything that you can do, then you can do.
Alright, I'm going to use a bonus action to do Misty Step to get out of the webs.
Very nice, yeah, I think that would probably work.
As a verbal a free action?
Yeah, you can talk or interact with an object or speak or whatever just for a free action for sure.
All right, I'm going to yell out, stay close to me.
Okay. So where would you like to Misty Step to?
I guess... There's not really a good many spots that I can be next to you and not be in front of you where I don't want to be.
That's true.
Is that rock gonna hurt our line of sight on this thing, or is that not big enough to block?
It would. You probably could still see it, but if you were to like fire a projectile directly from where you are right now to it, it would probably block that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, it's probably similar size to the spider. It's a pretty big, like, boulder looking thing. And as you look around this field, it looks like, you know, it's a clearing with a little bit of a more of a clear area from the trees and stuff, but these giant boulders that look like maybe, you know, thousands of years ago they rolled off of the peaks of these mountains, and this is kind of just where they've settled into this field. Hey Gusto, welcome to the stream.
Would being on the other side of that tree from you be close enough to you, Chewy?
15 foot from, and I'm in the center.
So yeah. All right, so I'll pop over there, and that should give me a clear enough line.
No, that's too far. Because I can't move away from the other two.
Wait, where did you want to be?
No, that's
right where I put you?
Away from you, though.
Yeah, but it's also, I can't. It's a 15-foot thing, and it's centered on me.
Oh, so you have to be within
15 feet across.
Within 5 feet.
All right, then.
You guys can be in a square with one of these like terrain objects. It will just be difficult terrain, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Climb a tree.
Put me on the tree then.
Just right into one of
right to the left of Chewy.
Okay, cool.
Other side. Yeah,
that works.
Cool. So you Misty Step away, and you guys just see Deacon like teleport away, and the web just stays where it was and falls to the ground.
And I'm going to... Let's see how this thing likes being on fire. Let's try it. 16.
Let me see here. What is its AC? Yeah, that hits.
Cool.
12 fire damage.
All right, you Let me see if it does have any. Doesn't seem like it. All right, so you launch this and you hit it, and it starts to burn a little bit, and you see some of the moss and leaves and stuff that are kind of just naturally stuck to this thing's back light up in embers and burn it a little bit, but it seems to just continue like skittering across the ground heading towards all of you. Yeah, definitely stay a while and listen. Thank you guys for joining us. Welcome everybody to the campaign. We're just starting this evening. Deacon, anything else from you? You light the spider on fire?
No, I think that's my bonus in action, and I'll just have my owl kind of hang out up above, far enough out of the way to hopefully not get noticed or be in range of much.
Sure. So yeah, it naturally you've kind of trained it so that when stuff just randomly breaks out in combat, it kind of just soars up a little bit out of the way and starts to oversee things until you call upon it. And Chad, you see this spider just like launch this web at Deacon. Deacon quickly reacts and teleports away, and the spider continues skittering towards you. Chad, it's your move.
Whoa, he shot a teleporting spiderweb. I don't want to get hit by one of those. Then I might end up all the way back in the tunnels. I can't let that happen. Ah! Chad goes crazy. He goes into a rage, a fury, a frenzy rage, and he decides now is the time to run straight at the giant spider and hit it in the face.
Pretty smart. So what is your movement distance? 40 feet now?
40, yeah.
So let's see if you can. You might be a little bit short, but you can probably get close. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30. No, you can get right in front of it if you want.
Okay, I want to hit it in one of its big ugly eyes.
All right. You just Chad sprint right towards the giant spider, and you like almost collide with it as you swing into it, and it's just skittering right towards you. Make an attack roll.
Whoa, I'd like to go for a double attack. I can't do the frenzy since I already went into berserk.
Sure.
My bonus action, but I'd like to go for a 1 and a 2. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
25 and 21 definitely hits.
Chad!
Let's see how we do.
And so that is 15 plus 16.
Okay, 31. So you go up and you sprint right towards this thing, and you just like hack at one of its, you said one of its eyes? Chad?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm just like trying to stab all of its eyes like individually.
Okay, you like try to slash at its face, and it like grabs your sword with its like pincers on the front of its face, but your sword like kind of like slams through and breaks free of its grip and just smashes it right on the face, and it doesn't like cut into it so much, but it definitely like gashes it on the front of its head, and then your second swing kind of like cleaves into one of its front pincers and just chops it off, so it has like one fang kind of trying to bite at you from the front.
Does the spider blood come out like a little bit?
A little bit does, and it's like this bright neon green color that just sprays at you.
Yeah. All right. With that sound, that's the end of my turn.
All right. Let's see. So the spider, this green blood starts spraying out of where its one of its fangs was, and it's like trying to like rip at you with the other one, and it realizes that's not really working too well, so it tries to bite you or stab you with one of its like legs that have these sharp stingers on the end, and you see that it tries to hit you with one of its front legs that has a stinger, and as that happens, you can see one of the other legs is missing that stinger. Let's see.
Only has 8 shots.
So it tries to 8. 13 to hit.
I have 13 armor.
Okay, so it hits. Takes 7 piercing damage and 6 poison damage. And then make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okie dokie.
13. All right, you get stabbed, and it injects this poison into you, and you feel like this intense stinging pain. And it hurts like super bad, and it feels like it's like spreading out from the wound. It like stabs into your thigh, and it's just radiating up your body. But then it kind of like dulls a little bit, and you seem to be okay. It just like intensely hurts.
Man, that stings.
Chewy, over to you.
I forgot barbarians can't listen; they just charge into battle.
Which I'm happy with. I'm already like, damn it, why did I give you that cube?
Barbarian's gonna do what Barbarian's gonna do.
I toss the cube to Deacon and run attack the spider.
Nice. What is your movement speed? Around the same?
45, I believe.
45. Okay, so you were 5 feet away from Chad, so you can get to pretty much the same spot wherever you want to be.
Okay.
I guess your range is higher. You probably don't want to be right up next to it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
So.
Wherever you want to be at.
Yeah, that's too far. The flank one. Yeah, can't get that far. To the left of the tree, if that's where you have me now.
Left one spot right here. Okay. Yeah, that's probably fine.
Okay.
So you like see Chad run off and start to like immediately clash with this thing, and you're like, no, I told you to stay here, and you run off after to help back him up. And as you're running, like you feel another one of those giant thuds, and you hear this crash that sounds like a tree falling in distance, but this time it's a little bit louder and closer. And you run up and you get to the spider.
Crap, there's more than one of them.
Who would do that to you?
Okay, I'm going to attack with my staff.
Okay. Serpentis, the dragon-slaying magical staff that you found. Too bad it's not a good spider killer. Well,
yeah.
Maybe. We will find out. Seems to be okay. 20. Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll damage.
Okay, there's that damage for that. And then I'm going to do my monk unarmed.
Okay.
I'm going to spend a key point.
Nice. 16 hits.
Okay. Cool.
Another 7.
Yeah.
Nice.
So another one more unarmed.
Okay.
Oh,
9 this time. That one just glances off. The spider like just got done like trying to inject this venom into Chad, and you run up and start like wailing on it with your staff and punching, and it just like reaches one of its legs with these stingers up and deflects one of your blows, and as it does, it like blocks one of your punches with the stinger, and then it immediately like lightning strike brings it back down and tries to stick the stinger in your arm.
okay.
19 to hit.
Yes.
Okay. So you're gonna take
That's
two.
what you needed was 19.
Oh, dang, nice. 2 piercing damage, and make a, what did I say? Con save.
Yeah, if it's poison, yeah.
Yep. Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, jeez.
A 4.
Hey, Deacon, I should have stayed with you.
Okay, so take an
Probably.
additional 7 poison damage,
Okay.
and you start to feel the same like radiating pain. It sticks in your arm, the stinger, and like when the spider pulls its leg back to start to like stabilize itself and get back to the dealing with Chad, the stinger stays in your arm and just like rips off, and you see all that green blood and ooze drip out of the tip of the spider's leg, and the stinger just stuck in your arm, and it's just radiating this pain into your arm, and you can just feel it like draining the venom into your arm, and
Okay.
it just feels like it's like creeping through your bloodstream and infecting you, and you just feel absolutely like morbidly sick, and it's like howling in pain, and you are poisoned. Any other bonus actions? Anything from you?
Doesn't look like it, no.
Okay. Mac's turn. Mac is completely paralyzed. And it's back to Deacon.
All right. So how you guys feeling up there?
Owie.
You doing okay?
Owie.
Hmm.
They're fine.
I've been stuck.
I think if I do this, then I'm not. Well, and you said that we heard like another noise, that there might be another one.
Well, you heard what sounded like another giant crashing like sound, like a tree fell, or I guess make a perception check really quick, Deacon. Pretty smart lad. Rolled a 2. Maybe not. You have no idea
Smart,
what.
but not perceptive.
You heard a giant crashing sound in the distance, but not as much of a distance as the last time you heard the sound.
Did I get like a general direction of where?
From the right side of the map, I guess. From the, we'll say that is the east, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to move up to. This is a terrible idea. I'm going to move up to where the tree is that's next to Chewy there.
Okay.
I think that's going to be 5, 10, 15,
like
20.
Behind it, or
20, no, in that same space.
okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then I'm going to activate the cube that Chewy tossed me
Okay.
to weed out non-living matter. You said this thing looked like it was undead, right?
You getting a look at it, it looks like it has some traces of maybe some like rotting flesh hanging off of it, but it's hard to see. It's like covered in sticks and moss and leaves and dirt, and it looks like it's maybe was, super camouflaged and hiding in the forest and pounced on you guys thinking it was getting an easy meal.
Okay, well, given the general theme of the things we've seen,
Yeah.
take the leap of faith and think that it's non-living.
Okay, so you activate the cube. I don't know how this would work, like with like dead trees and rocks and stuff around you guys if they would just be like expelled in a blast of force and just like shot out of the cube. But I like to think that that's how it would work. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, like the all the trees get like uprooted and all the rocks just get flung everywhere in every direction.
Yeah, so you're all in the influence of this cube, and Deacon slams the button and just the boulder that's like halfway in the space with Chad just like flies across the map and crashes into a tree, and the dead tree that Deacon is like standing by like shoots off like a giant javelin and like barely misses the spider itself and like sails over the top of it, and it kind of like rears back and it tries to like jam its stinger like legs into the wall of the cube of force, and it's just like I guess bounces off. Is that it from Deacon?
Yeah, that's and also since detect magic lasts for 10 minutes, I presumably still have that up. So, do I notice anything now that I'm within range of this thing?
You do not. It doesn't seem like the spider itself. I guess if you're asking if it's like a magical being, like it doesn't have that aura of magic around it. Maybe the like dusting of magical energy that's kind of like generally in this area. It's kind of like still the same, just kind of vaguely everywhere around here on the ground, maybe leading off to the north, but the spider doesn't seem to be magical. It just seems to be a giant creepy spider.
Okay. Doesn't hurt to check.
Cool. I guess it's going to be Chad. Chad, you're inside this cube of force with your comrades here. The spider is like trying to bang on this cube force field and get in, and it seems to be like realizing it's not going to break through this, and it's like looking around trying to figure out like what to do to try to, you know, strategically get an advantage here.
Well, much like this spider, I look very, very unimpressed. I kind of like you know, like you turn your wrists upward and you're just kind of like the like the shrug, like the what do I do here? I turn around and look at them like what do you I was hitting him in the what do you want me to do?
You can still punch it.
Can I punch it through the wall?
Yeah, it only blocks out non-living matter, so your living fist can still.
So I can travel
not with a
back
weapon.
and forth freely. Oh, but my weapon can't. Oh well, thank God my weapon can't make it through.
Well, I don't know.
I'd
I
hate
don't know
to
how
lose my weapon.
I don't know how it works in terms of like carried items. Would
I'd assume that
assume
counts as not living.
I don't know, man. The cube of force.
That means like if I have
It
clothes,
seems like a very strange like item
Chad
that it's
walks
like
through
no,
and
you
ends
have
up
to
naked.
get completely naked to walk through it now.
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's like I walk through it, it just tears my clothes off.
Every time you turn it on, it just like blasts all of your clothes and items like 1,000 feet away. It's like totally unusable. No, I think it just like projects this force field around you guys, so I think you're good. Like all your stuff that's attached to you is fine, but yeah, you probably can't like swing a sword through it.
All right. I guess I'll just do like an unarmed strike. I guess. I don't know.
Nice.
I'll punch it with a 1, 2, 3.
So I think you, as a barbarian, I think you are proficient in unarmed strikes, but I don't think you get to add any bonuses to the damage.
That sounds 100% correct. Yeah, no
his
bonus
rage
damage
would still work.
Yeah,
My
you still
rage
get to
damage,
add your
but
rage damage for sure.
That's
But
all.
I think what is the damage on an unarmed strike for a barbarian? Like 1d4?
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure it's a d4.
I think it's normally just 1 plus your strength.
Oh, that is actually right. Yeah. So, yeah,
it's only if you have like monk that you
Yep,
get
that's right.
a dice
That
roll.
scales. Yes. Okay, so yeah, roll to punch the giant spider.
But I think you do add the strength still.
Okay. So it's just
That is
one
rage.
one plus your damage bonus.
Uh, 1 plus my damage bonus.
So roll
what's
to
my chance
attack
to
like
hit?
normal. Your chance to hit will be like your normal chance to hit.
Like with my strength included.
Strength
Yeah.
and your proficiency. Yeah, you don't get to add like the +1 or whatever from your weapon, so it's just
Okay. So
D20
then,
plus strength plus proficiency.
yeah, so that would be the plus strength and proficiency. So it probably didn't hit.
So yeah, 11, that's a miss. 22 and 24, those are going to be hits. And so the damage that you will roll, you don't even roll. It's just 1 damage
it's
plus your strength.
The strength is 5 with the mod. So.
What about his rage?
Oh
Were
yeah,
you
plus
raging?
your rage. So
So 8 plus 8, I guess, is 16 damage.
dang, that's actually not
Not
bad, man.
Was that bad?
Heck yeah.
My first unarmed is just
You could like
clobber him.
kill a level 1 character with a punch. That's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
All right,
Some
Beastly
brute
Chad.
size.
You're like, this whole monk thing is easy.
I guess I'm a monk too. So you like get into this force field and your sword just like bounces off the wall. So you're just like whatever, and you hold your hands up and drop the sword and just do a quick 1, 2, 3. 2 of the punches connect, and it actually like reels back a little bit in pain. Like it's kind of surprised, like it was tapping on the force field trying to get through at you guys, and then you just like reach through it and punch it, and it like gets surprised a little bit, and it starts to run and circle around all of you, and it runs around behind this cube. I guess it can't go anywhere in this 15-foot square, so it runs around behind, and it's like kind of pacing back and forth like creepy spider skittering, like it's walking sideways on its legs and stuff. And it taps a couple more times on this force field, and then it turns and shoots another one of these stingers at Mac. And it hits him.
Sorry, Mac. I couldn't drag your body to.
Mac takes a chunk of damage, but still seems to be paralyzed. He like gets hit by the stinger, it launches into him, and it like stabs in, and he kind of rolls over a little bit, and you can see now he's got like a stinger stuck in his gut and the one stuck in his back from when he was on Chad's back, and he's just like laying there and paralyzed. The spider has gone, and it's back over to Chewy.
Well, I'm going to move within the 15-foot cube and go to this corner here
Okay.
and monk attack. Can't do my staff, so I'll do a monk unarmed to spend another key point. 3 of them.
Sure.
And 1 hits.
2 hits and a miss.
2 hits. Okay.
All right, 17 damage. So you go to punch this thing from within the cube, and as your second hit connects, this crash happens in the distance, and you hear it again, and it seems like it's like insanely close now, like within the clearing almost. And you see in the distance the trees at the end on the right side of the map just like start to part ways, and you see this giant figure emerge, and then a rock slams down on top of the spider and like connects with the spider and the edge of the cube of force, and the rock like hits so hard that it actually like pushes you guys a couple feet all to the left there, and the cube like it like holds, but this rock is like skids up against it like it was like thrown from way high up in the air, and it squishes this spider and kills it, and moves the whole cube and you guys in it over to the left. And it seems like there's like this electrical interference with the wall of the cube, like holding this rock up or away from it, but it's not passing through. And the spider is dead, and you can see on the right side of the map the trees part, and let's see if I can get a good... I don't think there's a good asset for this in here, so you guys will have to use a little bit of imagination with me, but try to make it work best I can.
So glad to that cube right now.
Where's that spider back? I want the spider back.
So you see emerge from the side of the forest a what looks like giant, like walking, living tree giant pop out of the side of the woods.
Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, the asset that they have on Roll20 is not the coolest thing in the world, but imagine like a tree ant almost.
Okay.
But it's like you see that it picked up this giant boulder and just like hurled it over towards you all and smashed the spider with it, and it's leaning over to pick up another one and throw it again. And let's see here.
So you're saying that this was a treant rather than a giant?
Yeah, there's not really a good picture for a tree ant to use on Roll20 that I could find, so just pretend that the thing that's on the screen is a tree ant. But it looks like the bark and the limbs of this thing, it's this giant, like, it looks like the dead trees that are around this clearing, like these brown and green giant, like, empty leafless trees. But it's massive, like twice as tall as these trees, and it looks like the bark is all like grayish brown, and there's no leaves on it. It just is like a bramble of branches and sticks and giant tree trunk legs and huge arms, and it does have like a giant like dead tree club, and then it also picked up this boulder and like hurled it across the clearing at you guys.
Cool. All right.
I think it's back over to who just went? Chewy, you just went and attacked the spider, and now it's back to Deacon.
All right, and Mac is still unconscious?
Yeah, as far as you can tell, he seems to just be laying on the ground paralyzed.
Okay. So I am going to channel a spell through my owl.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to use Lesser Restoration on Mac.
Okay.
Try to unparalyze him.
So the owl swoops down, and you time it so the spell just casts out onto Mac right as the owl swoops down. There's no roll or anything on Lesser Restoration, right?
No.
Just takes away all the status effects and all that.
So you can end either one disease or one condition. Afflicting a condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Okay.
So.
He is like, it's a pretty advanced state of poison, but you cure it, and you actually see Mac, like, his eyes have just been frozen open the entire time, and like now he can talk, and he just like finishes that like blood curdling scream, and then he looks around like he can move again, and he like pops up to his feet, and he's like, "Oh my god, that freaking spider, where'd it go?"
And I yell, "Get in here!"
And he looks like he starts to
get the owl to fly into our cube as well.
Okay, the owl probably has enough movement to do that. Mac looks like he like pops up and looks at where the spider was and sees this squished gut pile that's like dragged across the ground, and then he looks over and sees the tree ant that is like now in the motion of picking up another boulder to throw. And he starts to run. He starts to like try to pick up speed and run with his little dwarven legs, and he's like getting caught in his robes and stuff, trying to stand up and run towards you guys.
Oh, for the love of
Chad, over to you.
I did my part to keep him alive. It's up to him now.
Is the barrier still there? Like, I can still just like walk through it, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna run through the barrier and at the guy now. I'm just running at anything I see. So I'm just gonna get as close as I can, I guess. I don't think I can make it to him.
Sure. You can go 40 feet, right?
Yeah.
So anything with the objects is going to be like difficult terrain, so it takes twice as much to run through. So you could go like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You could get like right to the edge of these woods right here.
Yeah, actually, I want to do that and throw a javelin. That's what I want to do.
Sure.
Diagonal movement doesn't cost extra movement anymore in 5th edition, right?
So there's
Couldn't you just go around that?
they ruled like there's no set ruling on it. You can just charge 5 feet per diagonal space, or you can do, every other diagonal is 15 feet, and I think that's the way that I usually run it, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise you could just go like otherwise you could just go all the way diagonal and move like twice as much as you normally would be able to. So I essentially
I had actually made that change in 5th edition, but I haven't actually looked into it.
I don't think that there's like a technical like ruling on it. I think that, I don't know, even if there is, I'm gonna home rule like the 3rd edition diagonal movement rule.
Okay. So it's like the first diagonal is 5.
Exactly, like
5 and 10.
Yep. 2 javelin throws. All right, go for it, my friend.
Ooh, critical 1. Let's go.
Nice. Let me actually pull the stats up for this guy. Sorry, totally spaced out on that one for a second.
Throw it straight into the tree in front of me.
Okay, so the first one obviously misses. You roll a 9, and then the second one, 18, hits. You reel back and throw a javelin, and this thing is like in the process of picking up this giant boulder next to it, and it's like about to hurl it like somewhere towards your direction. I think it's like looking at Mac, who's like looks like a little ant to it running across the field, and it just seems to be in this like blind rage from that giant spider like running around in its forest is what you're imagining. And you hit it in the arm, and it like drops the boulder behind its back, and it almost like bends over backwards a little bit because it like got unexpectedly hit during lifting this giant weight. And roll your javelin damage.
Hell yeah. Let's go. 1d6. That's a 4 plus 7 damage.
All right. Takes 7, and it drops the boulder behind it, and it like slowly turns over to you, Chad, and it just like lets out this giant bellowing, like, it sounds like a giant like horn sound, just like whoa, like what you would
didn't like that 11 damage.
What you would imagine this tree man giant thing to sound like. It's just like this whoa, and the tree directly next to you, Chad, like springs to life, and you see it just like reach these giant root legs out of the ground and stand up, like animating to life.
He did not appreciate me throwing a javelin at the roots.
All right,
you're not with him.
Let me see if I can.
We don't know who he is.
Get another.
We like trees. Forests are cool. Only you can prevent forest fires.
So this will count as the animated tree next to you there, Chad. The green space there.
Okay.
So this tree next to you stands up and like springs to life. And
does it hit me?
The original one that animated the tree like pointed at you and bellowed, and now, oh my god, it's going to try to pick up a rock and throw it at you. You did 11 damage to it, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
just
4 plus 7.
Make sure I'm tracking that correctly. Okay, yeah, it picks up a boulder. The giant one that it had next to it, like the one that you can see on the screen there, it dropped behind it and it kind of shattered, but it picks up like a little fragment of it, like maybe, like a basketball-sized rock, and just tries to throw it at Chad.
Kobe.
Nat 1. It just like it lets out this giant bellowing scream and animates the tree, and then it just throws this rock, and it just goes like a mile over your head and just flies off down this mountainside.
Bella is this scream that almost sounds like Kobe,
Yeah.
and they just completely whiffs it and like almost hits his friend.
Exactly. So Chad has gone. Chewy, it's your turn.
All right. Well, I think I'm just going to do my hand crossbow for my Kinsey.
Okay.
And let's see. I'll do one attack with it, and then my bonus attack.
What target are you attacking?
The tree. I thought you.
There's 2 of them now.
Oh crap!
Which one?
The one that's already taken. Well, which one's closest? Yes, we should say.
Well, if you look on the map, the one that it animated is right next to Chad. It's this green, like,
Okay.
blob. Yeah,
Okay.
and then so this is like the giant dead tree ant, like actual giant thing, and it animated like an actual tree, and like brought it to life.
Okay, I'll shoot the one closest to Chad.
Okay. Cool. Fire off the old crossbow.
Just one's gonna be a regular attack,
Okay.
and then the second one be like using a Kinsey shot. Does 1d damage.
Okay.
As a bonus action. There's the first one. Ooh, crit.
Oh, nat 20.
And this one will be with the Kinsey shot.
All right. The first one, obviously, the nat 20 crit hits. The second one misses.
Dang it. Okay.
So 7 plus 12?
Yep.
19? Okay. The animated tree next to Chad takes 19 damage. You hit it with a crossbow bolt, and the bolt kind of sticks into it, and it hits it right in the like bark, of its like tree trunk body, and it just sticks in it, and you hear a thud, and it doesn't even react. It like doesn't turn towards you like it's surprised that it just got shot by something. It just like doesn't even look like it phased it whatsoever. Anything else, Chewy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Over to Mac, who is just like beelining it towards you guys. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He runs and stands right in front of you, Chewy. And he like stops right in front of the barrier and like catches his breath for a second and sees the trees, and then he just like runs behind you and stops, and then turns around and he fires off a spell. Let's see what he has. Does he even have any fire spells whatsoever? Oh, he has fireball. Oh no, okay. He is going to look at Chad and cast haste.
I think Fireball counts as a fire spell.
It does, but I don't think there's any way he can hit anything with fireball from here without probably killing one of you guys.
Even if it goes for the main tree out? Is that not within range?
Yeah, I don't know what the range on fireball is. Hang on one second. Let me.
That was like 60 feet.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Yeah, not close enough. He just casts haste on Chad. So Chad, until the spell ends, which is 1 minute, you gain double speed, +2 AC, advantage on dex save throws, and you get an additional action on each of your turns. The action can only be used to take a weapon attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object. So
Before
So I can attack an additional time?
yeah.
Before we do that, just for clarification, Fireball has a range of 150 feet.
Really?
Yup.
Nice.
Holy
Cool.
balls.
That makes sense, I guess. It's got to be the most overpowered spell.
Yup.
Wow,
Alright.
so I get like a bunch of stats right there.
Yeah, haste
I mean,
is
it
Like
does
the
make
rest of
sense because it's
combat.
like a 20-foot radius sphere, so
Yeah.
60-foot range would be really short.
Sure. Well, he just turns in quickly, just like throws a buff over Chad's way. He didn't even have time to react and plan out a strategic fireball placement. He just throws haste on Chad really quickly. So Chad, you're buffed up.
Yeah, this is Mac we're talking about, so.
Yeah. Well, not like haste is bad. Haste is probably like one of the most
Yeah,
powerful
no, haste
spells
is
in the
good.
game. So yeah, Mac is done, and it's back to Deacon.
All right. So I'm really sad that Sacred Flame no longer does fire damage.
Yeah, really.
Like it used to do half radiant, half fire, and now it's all radiant, and that's sad.
Lame.
So, which is really unfortunate because Sacred Flame would mean he wouldn't be able to know that I was the one shooting him.
True.
But Firebolt, on the other hand, seems like it would be pretty obvious. Do I have any kind of line of sight on the big guy?
Yeah, the trees that are in your way, they're like,
Or sparse enough. that I
big,
can
sparse,
figure
dead trees, so you could probably line up a shot in between them.
out? Okay.
I don't know that you could shoot a firebolt through the cube of force, though.
I should be able to. Spell effects can still go through. It's just non-living matter.
Okay.
So like, I wouldn't be able to throw an axe, but there's a different cube effect to weed out spell effects.
Okay, that's fine. Cube of force, super broken, overpowered item.
Yup.
Definitely regret it.
Thank you.
Yep. I think the Goblin Squad has a freaking cube of force too, man. What did I do?
Chad's still waiting for his cube of force.
I'll just give you all one.
Cube of Force Squad.
But like, but Chad's cube of force like only works with like flesh and meat. Like that's the only like exception.
Like all the other faces on the cube are broken.
Yeah. 21
All the faces on
is
the
a hit.
cube have faces. They all have like flesh faces.
That's terrifying. Oh my god.
17 fire.
17 fire. So you hit this thing with your firebolt, and it just erupts in flames, and the bark starts to just like singe off of it, and it starts to freak out, and like it starts like batting at itself to try to put the fire out with its giant like spindly branch arms, and the arms start catching on fire, and it's just like freaking out and just erupting into flames. And
I figured he wouldn't like that.
As that happens, let's see here. The tree ant that animated it just gets like enraged and starts like bellowing more and more, and starts like getting super mad, and looks like it's trying to like pick up all the rocks and dirt and earth and trees and stuff that it can. Anything else, Deacon?
Pray. But
okay.
Otherwise, nah.
All right. Chad.
It's Chad's time to shine.
That's right.
All right. Chad is just going to. I got a guy next to me, so I guess I'm just gonna hack through him.
All
'Cause
right.
Ideally, I go for the big boy, but I just don't want to provoke attacks.
So he is like wailing on fire, and like you're trying to dodge these branches as he's like flailing around.
So it's a hot tree trying to attack me.
I was shooting at the main guy, the tree ant.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind. Okay, the one next to you is not on fire, Chad. I apologize.
Okay. All right, that was
The
different reality.
the big guy is slightly on fire and flailing around.
Sorry,
All right.
I assume Chad could handle a little awakened tree with no problem.
Well, we can only hope that he didn't awaken a
faith
tree
in
that
you.
was stronger than him. Imagine that. So I'm now happily dropping the fist, dropping the javelin. It's back to the sword, okay? But this time I got haste. So I'm going to hit this guy 4 times.
Okay.
I'm going for it.
All right.
Ah.
Roll it up.
You got this.
Got 3 of them.
3.
19, 27, 24, 12. All right. Yep, that's 3 hits.
Woo!
You just do the math and let me know what your damage is.
All right, so I'll just do this d6, then I'll add all the 8 flat damage after per thing. So that's 8 plus 5, 13, plus 12, which is 25, and then you add 24 to that, and that's your number. 29? No, 49.
49. All right. So you hit this thing with just this barrage of slashes and stabs and crazy hits from your sword, and it was like already trying to, it lurched to life and started to try to stomp and whip you with its like branch arms and stuff, and you start hacking and slashing at it, and you're chopping into the bark of this thing, and it seems like it's like kind of being effective cutting at it, but it's like definitely not the best strategy, like trying to like chop a tree down while the tree is trying to chop you down back. And it does okay. You seem like you're connecting with it and doing some damage, but you feel like you're struggling against this thing as it like tries to attack you.
It dullens my blade.
Right. Is that it from Chad?
Yeah, I believe so. That was my bonus as well to get that 4th swing.
Okay. Over to the main baddie here. The giant tree ant that is now on fire starts to it's like is like smashing rocks and dirt and stuff against it to try to like extinguish this fire, and it, let's see, tries to hurl a rock over at the direction where it saw the firebolt come from.
Fail us now, Cuba Force.
Let's see. It throws this giant rock over and it hits the front of the Cuba Force area and just slams into it, and you like see that like electrical interference thing, but nothing happens again. And it sees that the rock like slammed into the force field, and it sees that you're unharmed, and it just gets even more upset, and it starts to move towards you guys. It moves right up next to Chad, and let's see here.
Tree walker.
It will try to do a slam on you. It picks up one of its giant branch arms and just tries to bring it down on Chad as hard as possible. Okay. 13 to hit.
I have bonus haste armor.
Ooh, very nice.
But normally it's 13.
It brings this like tree trunk arm down on top of you, and you just like your super speed like cracked out Chad, and you just dodge out of the way easy, and you like lunge away from this tree arm, and it like splinters into the ground, and like shards fly everywhere, and you just barely escape. And it is Chewie's turn.
You can't hit Chad with his own move.
So is that other tree still alive, or?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's still alive though.
Neither of them look like they are particularly injured whatsoever. The one that's on fire like looks like it's inconvenienced by being on fire.
Okay.
But that's about it.
I'll shoot the one Chad just did a lot of damage on me.
The animated one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, go ahead and roll. Cool. Yeah, 20 definitely hits.
Dang it. I forgot to hit the Kinsey thing again, so I'll have to roll. for that. Oh wow. So I need an addition. Nope, it took it. Okay, good.
So eight
That's eight.
total.
Yeah.
Okay, you launch another bolt into this thing, and same thing as before. It sticks into the side of the bark, and it just doesn't really feel like it is affecting it pretty much at all. Which I guess meta terms is like a code word for that is it's definitely resistant to piercing and bludgeoning damage. Anything else, Chewy? Any bonus actions, movement, anything?
No, that's it.
Okay. The animated tree, it sees Chad like kind of turn its attention towards the giant tree ant and dodge out of the way of its attack, and it tries to come around the side and sandwich Chad in between the giant trees and starts to try to like push forth a giant like trunk arm and squish Chad. Let's see, 14 to hit that time. I think that misses, right?
No, not with my my special armor I got from
Cool.
haste.
Super
Let's
tight.
go.
So
Yeah, honestly, like both hits would have hit me if I didn't have the 2 AC.
yeah, haste is really, really good, man. It's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite spells. That's
it is mine right now.
When sorcerers get to the level where they can start like twinning spells with their sorcery points and they can like double cast haste on 2 different targets, it's so insane.
That sounds nuts.
Yeah, there's some really cool like buff sorcerer builds that people make just to be like party like helpers. It's super cool. All right, it takes another slam attack. It tries to push you and like squish you up against the other tree, and you like leap over its arm, and then it like tries to slam the other one down on top of you, Chad. That one's a 25 to hit.
I think that hit.
Yeah. All right, and damage wise, all right, take 3d6 plus 6. 8, so take 10 bludgeoning damage.
10. Ugh.
And
Ouchie.
it is all done, and it's going to be Mac's turn. Mac is gonna try to. Well, he really was gonna try to do a fireball, I promise. But I don't know if he is now.
Chad will be fine.
That's probably true, but
You can take 8d6.
yeah,
right?
that's quite a bit of damage.
Haste probably gives you some kind of advantage on dex saves.
If it actually does,
Yeah.
for sure it does. But I don't think. Oh, maybe that is Mac's plan. All right, actually, now that I think about it, like Mac is the kind of like crafty but super shady person that he would be like, "What? I buffed you with haste. Like you can't be mad at me for casting a fireball on top of you."
Sorry, I talked him into it, Chad.
It was a good idea.
Chad would want it to happen anyways. Trust.
All right, so Mac is going to, let me see, I have fireball, so yeah, he's going to just like boom, fireball right on top of you guys.
Oh, snap.
Horrible idea, but it's Mac, it's what would happen. So everybody make a dex save, including Chad. The trees, I didn't even look at what their dex was. -1, of course it is.
Sweet.
Oh man, I actually rolled pretty good. What is Max?
I get advantage. Oh, advantage
Oh,
sucks.
no.
Oh god.
Chad might die.
Do you have insight? Did you have inspiration at all?
Not for today. No, I think I had one before, but I used it like immediately.
Let's see.
Okay.
So Max spell save DC is 14. So you had to pass a 14. The giant tree ant saved, and both Chad and the animated tree failed. So let me just roll this in the in the roll 20 for you guys, so you can
It's what?
check it out.
86 save for half or something?
I think
Yes.
that's safe for half.
So 38 damage, and the giant guy is going to take 19. Caden in the chat asks, do you just stop showing up to sessions if you die? No, your character can die if you have some type of special healer, like a cleric or sometimes warlocks and paladins can revive characters, or if you want, story-wise, a character could just die and then you can re-roll a new character and play as a different person in the world. So there's some options if somebody dies, but we haven't had to deal with that yet. I'm not trying to ever like kill someone on purpose, though, by the way, if anyone thinks that. So
Speaking of which, do you go by the max damage insta death rules, or
if you take damage equal to like
your
twice your total max health or whatever?
Yeah, I can't remember if it's your max health or twice your max health.
I think it's if something would take you to the amount of your max health negative, then you instantly die. Yeah, we would play by that way. I don't think we've had anything come close to that, but I guess if something like just smacked you and did like 200 damage to you, yeah, you would die.
Yeah, and I think that deserves for you to not be able to be resurrected.
It's like, okay, make your death saves now.
Yeah, well, let me roll my death save. I just got disintegrated by a dinosaur.
Yeah, which most of the time, when I make you guys do death saves, it's because you got like, knocked unconscious and you're bleeding out or whatever. If you got just smashed by a boulder to death, like
I got digested by an elder dragon. Let's make death saves.
All right, you fell off the tallest mountain in the world. Make your save, please.
Just jumped off a cliff.
Hey, fall damage max is
it is actually like pretty. Yeah, it's like high level barbarians with like rage and extra bonus armor and stuff like that can easily like survive 10,000 feet falls and stuff, no problem.
So they could jump, but you could literally jump into hell and it'd be okay.
Yeah, it's just not that much damage.
It depends on where you land, though.
Land in the lava.
I think like once you get above 100 HP, pretty much any character can just survive max distance falls. It's kind of silly. The animated tree, it just like disintegrates and disappears. The giant guy looks a bit unhappy, and he starts kind of like smoke and embers start pouring off of him, and some of the dead leaves and branches on his shoulders and stuff. Like he's got, the big tree trunk arms and legs and body, but there's littler branches and limbs and stuff sticking off of him, and they start to like cinder up and kind of start to disintegrate and just leave the big core trunk body remaining, and everything else is starting to burn off. Chad, you took the 38.
Yes.
Okay. That was max.
I'm now down to 8 HP. If everyone wants to understand what's going on here.
Caden,
out of my 59.
Caden in the chat says, just fell off Mount Everest. I'm all right. Just broke my legs, arms, back, and all of the bones in my body, but I'm okay. That is accurate to D&D. I like it. So max done. It's back to Deacon.
All right. So let me find my get this and 60 feet. Okay, good. And then charisma fire. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. That's action. So I'm going to use my healing light and
this is the Celestial Warlock special ability you have?
Yeah.
Cool. So 4d6 for a total of 11 towards who?
Chad.
Okay. Mr. Chad, get 11 HP to you.
Woohoo! Hopefully I'm not one shot anymore. I can't say that with confidence when Elder's running it. Jeez.
And Mac fires off another fireball. No, just
directly at Chad.
He specifically tries to move the tree ant and then fire off another one at Chad.
He's affected by the mind curse.
And then I'm going to shoot another firebolt at the tree ant
Cool. Yeah, 23 definitely hits.
for 20 damage.
Ooh,
20 fire damage.
nice one. You hit it, and it looks like you old Western movie when they shoot somebody and you can see the hole straight through them. And this just like a smoking fireball hole goes right through this guy, and it's just like a hole in its core. And it starts to move to lurch and grab another rock to smash Chad over the head with it or something, and it looks down and sees that there's a hole through its body, and it just tree falling in slow motion scene plays, and it just falls, and just you hear another one of those giant crashes like you heard before, and the tree falls over backwards and is dead.
Sweet.
Nicely done, everybody. So you defeated the giant tree ant, and the spider, or the tree ant killed the spider, and then you killed it. Let me try to zoom in closer on the map here to see all of you guys. This doesn't work too well. Just move all of you over for the stream purposes so you're all in the middle of the map. So this thing falls over and dies, and it just gets stuck in place, and it's just laying there dead on its back. And you see as it dies, the kind of foliage and stuff that was left on its body just kind of withers away, and it starts to just melt into the earth. And Deacon, the detect magic that you still have, the aura, this thing is just lighting up that aura and covered in this magical glowing energy. And as it starts to melt down into the earth, all that remains is one long almost wand looking branch, and it's just radiating this glowing energy that you can see with your detect magic.
I take the branch.
All right, as soon as you reach out and touch it, your hand just disintegrates. No, just kidding.
Damn.
Not even a save.
That would be awesome. No, you're totally fine. You pick it up, and you can kind of sense that it may be some type of magical item, but it seems like a stick from a tree ant, but you aren't sure exactly what it is.
Does anybody have a pearl worth about 100 gold per chance?
Afraid not.
Mac starts
Asking for a friend.
Mac starts ruffling around in his spell crafting pouch, and he pulls something out, holds it up to the sun, looks at it, he's like, no, starts rummaging around some more, pulls a couple things out, and he's like, afraid I just used my last pearl in the tunnels to make those potions for you guys. I apologize. I didn't think we would need one.
Worthless.
He's like, what was that?
I said, darn.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we should probably get out of here. That thing was terrifying, and I don't want to see if there's any more of them lurking around here. It seemed like it was upset that anything was in this forest. Maybe that would explain why it's been so quiet around here.
Yeah, that would make sense.
All right, and now that you guys have completed the tree ant battle, you're all going to advance to level 7.
Oh, go.
Heck yeah. So have you guys thought about what you want to do with your next level up? I don't know if level 7 brings any extreme decisions for you guys. If you want, we can just
stats, right?
Let's find out.
It's different for each class. Every class has different level up things that happen at each level. If you guys are down, we can just do it on stream right now.
Yeah, let's do it up. If anyone else is down, I'm down.
Sure.
And if
Can I keep a force back?
Ooh, I get all sorts of good stuff.
yeah, Chewie holds out his 10-foot long arm and beckons to get his cube of force back from Deacon.
Yeah. Here you go.
Right there.
If any of you guys do have like some decision making that you have to do with your leveling up, you can always take the week to think about it and let me know by next time. But we can start today with Chad if you're ready.
Sure, yeah. I don't even know what my level
Hey,
entails,
we'll
so let's
find
just
out.
do it live.
Heck yeah. I keep clicking the wrong thing. Here we go. Level plus. All right, this is my favorite thing about D&D. Leveling up and making characters and stuff.
Straight up.
It's a lot of fun. Cool. So you get to go to level 7. You get to roll or take the average for your HP.
Average.
Cool. So plus 7. It's not bad.
That's gonna feel nice.
It looks like you do get some new
360.
features too, which are pretty sweet.
Oh, really? Let's go.
Let's find out what they are. New features for the Path of the Berserker Barbarian. You get Feral Instinct. Your instinct are so honed that you have advantage on initiative rolls from now on.
What?
Additionally, if you are surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't incapacitated, you can act normally. So, you can... Oh, okay. So if you get surprised, like if somebody takes a surprise round on you guys at the beginning of combat, you can also take your turn during the surprise round.
But I have to rage.
Exactly.
That's so cool. So I get an advantage on initiative of all things.
Yep.
And I can't be surprised if I let myself go into a rage.
Exactly.
That is so cool. Oh
that
my
is
God.
pretty sweet, man. Like
that's
That's
feral.
a really dope idea.
I love that, and like I love how like it thematically fits in with like Chad. Like you just like that's what you think of Chad. Just,
yeah, like nothing's gonna surprise you. Like if something tries to surprise you, it's just gonna like piss you off.
yeah, and if anyone like wants like a second chance at being first to hit something in the face, even if it's not the best idea to go first, it's Chad.
Yeah, and like you naturally just want to charge into battle first, so you get advantage on getting to be the first guy to just run straight in.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
God, this is actually so good for me. This is way better than what I thought.
Nice, man. And 61 HP is like nothing to scoff at either. So very nice.
Oh, don't forget about the shades. I get +1 HP per my berserker level.
Okay, cool.
The sapphire shades. So that's 68 now.
68. Oh, boom! Nice, 68.
That's hot.
Heck
wow.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Super good. Level 7.
Amazing.
All right. Who is up next? Anybody you want to go?
I'll go.
All right.
I was about to say I'll go last. 'Cause decisions to make.
Yeah, you
Still
might
looking
have
at
some more complicated decisions there.
Yeah, I
All
get
right.
4th level spells and an
Ooh,
invocation.
that's big for warlocks, man. 4th level warlock spells. You get some sweet stuff. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to break that cube of force though before you guys do anything else. That thing is broken. All right, Chewy. Level 7. Average or roll for your HP?
Average this time.
All right. You get an extra 5. And you get quite a few more features as well. Man, your monk page is like turning into a book of how many things you can do. All right, Way of the Kensei Monk. You get evasion. When you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dex save to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the throw, and only half if you fail. So if someone fires a fireball at you and you pass the save, you just don't take any damage at all. And if you fail, you only take half damage. So that's insane. You now have 7 key points, and you can now use your action to end one effect on yourself that is causing you to be charmed or frightened. So that's pretty sweet too.
Yeah, it is.
Not bad. Evasion is really good. Like you can really line that up with spellcasters and stuff, you know, and like Mac firing off a fireball on the middle of you guys. That one pretty much would have not affected you at all if you had this ability, Chewy. So that's pretty cool. Very nice. Up to 53 HP, it looks like.
Cool.
Nice, nice. All right, Deacon, you ready to go, or you want to hold off?
I mean, is this like the last thing we're doing?
Pretty much.
Stream. Yeah, I might hold off. Well, I don't know. If we can stretch something for like 5 minutes, I might be ready.
Sure, we can take a look at it and do everything else as far as leveling up, and then you can hold off on picking your spells if that's what you need some extra time for.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. All right, here we go. So, would you like to roll or take the average for your HP?
I'll just take the average.
Okay. Extra 5, and you get some invocations. Did you have any idea for what you wanted to do for that?
No, I'm still looking at that too.
Okay, that's fine. So, you can like log into Roll20 and change your character sheet on your own and stuff, right?
Maybe.
You should be able to edit this. I think so. Yeah, it can be edited and controlled by me and you. So,
okay,
cool. So, whenever you get time, if you want to take as much time as you want until next week, pick out your spells and stuff, and then when we get to the next session, we'll go over it and see what you got and show everybody the cool new tips and tricks that Deacon has. And I should actually have Deacon's new character portrait and art made by the next time we play. The preliminary sketch from Tweedler came in. It looks awesome. I just have to send off the okay on that, and I will actually I'll send you the copy of the sketch just to make sure that you're cool with that, Pickle Deer. Sure. But it looks pretty awesome. I'm super stoked about it. Hopefully you're cool with it too. And then we should have a new token art for you for the next session. And then we will pick up things from where we left off here. I'm still finishing up the exact like specifics of the adventure once you guys actually get to Castle Bronze, if that is where you all end up heading to next time. So we're going to have to end it a little bit early just so I can prepare all of that stuff. It's kind of a little bit of a complicated one. It's a little bit more detailed and in-depth than stuff I've brewed up in the past. So hopefully you guys bear with me there, taking a little bit of a shorter session today. But at least we got a sweet battle and you guys got to level up at the end. Hopefully that was fun enough.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll get squashed by a giant any day.
I do apologize that we didn't get too much done today, but I still had fun. I hope you guys did as well.
I had so much fun. I didn't even notice that we didn't get a lot done. I thought we did a lot.
Cool.
Yeah,
Good.
right.
Well, that's good. I want to thank all of you guys. I'm super excited with how things have been going. I'm sorry I've been so busy. I haven't been able to really like be super active with posting and stuff about D&D outside of just the campaign and the stream. But hopefully we'll be able to in the future. Dr. Feargood, you're thinking about running the Descent into Avernus campaign at the end of the month. I still have to figure out exactly what days and stuff I'm free for that. I'm super excited for that. I will keep you in the loop of that if I'm going to be able to make it. I really hope I'm able to. Do you have other players that are signed up for that so far?
No, I didn't expect them to sign up right away. I just trying to give everybody a heads up. I'll post again a couple weeks ahead.
Cool. Getting feelers out there and seeing who's interested.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I need to think of what character I would want to play for that and see what days everybody's free and all that. But I'm super stoked for that campaign. I hope to run that one someday. But I'm stoked on D&D right now. Really appreciate you guys hanging out and just taking all the time to play in this campaign. I know I say it a lot, but I appreciate all of the time it takes and the time you guys take out of your schedule to play in this on stream every week. So really, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I know it is a lot of free time to give up, but I hope it's worth it. And we will be back tomorrow for the podcast. We're going to be talking about just some of my personal ideas about this game, things that I want to see out of the game. Possibly going to talk about tree ants for the monster of the week, but maybe it'll be a different one. I'm not sure yet. And then we'll be back next week with some more of this campaign. So, anything you guys have to say before we sign off?
See you next week.
Perfect.
Stay chatical, everybody.
Exactly. Stay chatical. Everybody, Vampire King is a fellow streamer. He is the guy who plays Chad on the stream. Obviously, he's amazing. Check his channel out, Vampire King, here on Twitch. He streams all sorts of cool games. Super fun guy to hang out and talk to. Really friendly, as you can tell from the interaction here on the campaign. And he is a fellow streamer, so go and give him a follow and give him some love. He's not streaming D&D or anything like that, but he does play super cool games, a lot of like indie games and League and cool stuff like that. So give him some love. We'll see you guys next week, and actually we'll see you guys tomorrow, but see the campaign next week. Thanks again. I'll quit rambling now, and I'm out of here. So talk to you guys later.